neighbors. Pastor Stephen here from Guilford Park Presbyterian Church. Hope that you're doing well this week. We have concluded our Ruth Lamb Enrichment series, but the conversation about growing young is continuing. But for now, we turn our attention to our favorite time of the year, which is stewardship season. And this year, we are starting a new sermon series. It's going to be a 4-week sermon series called Our Money Story. And it's not just about stewardship season. Yes, we need to give graciously so that we can support the various ministries and missions of Guilford Park Presbyterian Church as we work to put together our 2024 budget. But our sermon series is actually about even more than that. It's about all of our money stories, the stories of you as an individual, your family, our country. That's what we're going to be talking about this week, because the truth is that we all have a money story, all of us, whether we recognize it or not. Perhaps we are living from a story of fear or shame, or a story that the church is dying and no longer relevant, or a story that our actions won't have an impact, or perhaps a story that we don't have enough. So our question is, where might God be speaking a new narrative into the limited ones that we have told ourselves? This theme, Our Money Story, invites us to discover and tell our money stories in light of God's money story of liberation and of justice. This series encourages us to transform our stewardship practices into more full expressions of who we are and what we believe. Now, this theme is intentionally direct. It invites us to name exactly what we're talking about and not to skirt around it. To speak of money is to invite tension into the room. We so quickly want to avoid it, but we think it's time that we reframe this. You know, truth be told, money and possessions are one of the most common topics in Scripture. And Jesus talked about money more than faith, talked about it more than prayer. Our money story, therefore, is a spiritual one. Thinking about God's money story should be liberating and inviting and transformative. So this stewardship season, we invite you to remember, release, reimagine, and restore your money stories so that we can write the one God is begging us to live into. Now, on this first Sunday of this sermon series, our two scriptures that we'll journey through are Exodus 16, 1 through 18, which is the story of manna in the desert, and Luke 22, 1 through 23, which is the Last Supper and Judas's betrayal of Jesus. Won't read those here in the video as they're pretty lengthy. But we begin our series by looking back at what our spoken and unspoken money stories have been and how those stories have impacted our practices of stewardship. In these texts, we remember God's steadfast relationship with us throughout time and trials. We remember that Judas betrayed Jesus in exchange for money, but was still invited to the table. We remember that the Israelites complained in the wilderness, but were met with manna. So even in stories of desperation and deep, deep betrayal, we are gifted with God's provision of the feast of enough and the holy meal of remembrance. So friends, we hope you will join us this Sunday as we journey into our money story. If you want to join us on Sunday, we have a number of things going on. At 9 o'clock, as always, is Breakfast in the Bible, which is an intergenerational time for our children and their families to gather and have some tasty breakfast and journey through the Bible. It's a pretty self-explanatory title. And then at 10 o'clock, we will have worship. 11:15 or so is going to be our adult Sunday school. 2 o'clock is children's music. And the Chosen Watch Party is at 5. We have, I think the Crop Walk also is this Sunday. If you want to know more about that, you can talk to someone at our mission committee, like Lisa Jones, for example. So friends, hope that you are having a blessed week and that you get some rest in this upcoming weekend, and that you'll join us this Sunday as we start our money story at 10 a.m. So until then, be well, be kind to one another, be good neighbors, and remember that there is room for you in the neighborhood. Bye.